Hey Google, turn on The Office.
Sure.
Say hello to the camera. All right, so before we dive into things today, I just have to mention, so it is currently April 18th, which is definitely, by all accounts, spring in the United States, even in Michigan. And yeah, let me just show you what's going on outside. The heck is this? Michigan, you should not look like this. Not in April. Harper, what do you think of all the snow? Yeah, I know. It's weird. Yeah, this should not be happening in April. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today, it's gonna be a pretty chill video today. I'm just kind of walking through the details of how I build my wedding timelines. So we're gonna talk a little bit of like the theory and some of the mentality that I bring to wedding timeline creation and building things, and then literally just walk piece by piece through the entire wedding, both with a first look wedding and a more traditional wedding where they don't see each other before the ceremony, kind of how I build those timelines. First things first, one of the things that I tell all of my couples really as soon as we start talking is that my first priority on the wedding day is not taking amazing photos, although of course I want to take great photos, but my priority on the wedding day is how can I help you be comfortable? How can I help you have a stress-free and fun day? How can I help you enjoy getting married? Because if you can enjoy getting married, then your photos are going to be so much more authentic and so much more real because you're just having fun. And I feel like so often the priority here gets shifted. Wedding days can so easily turn into this big checklist of events that, hey, we have to shoot photos of this, shoot photos of this, shoot photos of this, and then your wedding day just becomes a checklist of photography items and not, hey, we're having fun with each other, we're celebrating our love, we're hanging out with friends and family, we're getting freaking married. I build all of this with space, with intentionality, so that my couples can just relax, breathe easy, have a fun time, build a day that just allows them to celebrate their love with their friends and families. All of this information I also send to my couples in a wedding day guidebook. And the wedding guidebook literally walks through everything from getting ready all the way through the send-off and has tips and tricks and helpful things to think about as they think about those specific parts of the day, but also has times attached to it. So they know, hey, for details in getting ready, this is how long Josh wants. For family photos, here's the typical shots that he takes. All of my couples get this information and hopefully helps them build a more intentional timeline. So diving in right off the bat here with details and getting ready, I usually ask for about an hour and a half for details and getting ready. I kind of jump back and forth between like the bride and the groom's suites as they're getting ready and just kind of shoot candids throughout the entire hour and a half. And then throughout that process, I'll take details. I'll go grab rings and shoes and bouquets and programs and stationery and the dress and all those kind of things. And as I kind of pop into the room, take a few candid photos, grab some details, go out, shoot the details, come back, shoot some more candids, just kind of allows me to showcase the unfolding story of the day, but also not, make the couple feel like I'm over their shoulder for 20 minutes. We have to do all the getting ready right here. And then especially with like the girls, oftentimes makeup and hair will take about as long as I would want to shoot all the getting ready stuff. And I don't want to just shoot one part of the getting ready. I want to shoot the entire experience. So I'll kind of pop in and out and make sure that I get everything throughout the hour and a half time. It's usually about enough time to get all the details, all the getting ready stuff, and then we're good to go. So then after getting ready, if the couple's seeing each other before the wedding, then it's time for the first look. For the first look, I give about 20 to 30 minutes. And this is really time just to allow the couple to breathe, have some time with their best friend, and just have some space. I intentionally don't shoot with like wide angle lenses super close. I'll shoot with like long telephotos way back in the bushes, like super stalkerazzi kind of thing. This is a space where I keep the wedding party away, I keep the family away. I oftentimes even keep myself away for a lot of that or shoot on super long lenses. And this is not a time for portraits of the couple. This is time for them to read through some vows if they want to do that, read their notes, exchange some gifts, something like that. But this is just a space for them to just be. And I really try to value that space and give them the space that they need. That's why I give like 20, 30 minutes for the first look, even though I don't need that long. It doesn't take 30 minutes to see each other. It just gives them some time to walk around, to talk, to go sit somewhere and just like have a conversation. From that point, we can dive into wedding party photos. Wedding party photos usually take me about 45 minutes. What I'll do is I'll take the entire group of everyone. For 10 minutes, I'll do some big group formal portraits. I'll try to get some candids and stuff as we move from location to location. Usually takes about 10 minutes to get the entire group and all the different photos I want for that. Then I'll send send the girls away for a few minutes. I'll take the guys, I'll shoot some formal portraits of the groomsmen all together, a couple, big group photos. I'll grab the groom and each of his guys and then also shoot just the groom. And then with the remaining time, I'll pull the girls in, shoot the rest of that. The same thing I did with the guys, but with the girls, there's a few more details like the florals and hair and the dresses and shoes and all that kind of stuff that I want to capture as well. So it takes me just a few more minutes with the girls. But again, same kind of thing where I'm shooting formal portraits of, the entire group, some fun candids, and then just the bride, and then just the bride with each of her girls. And then after wedding party stuff, I typically try to dive into family. And what I mean by family is immediate family of the couple. So their parents, their siblings, any spouses or kids that the siblings have, and then their grandparents. This is not time for like aunts, uncles, cousins, all that kind of extended family people. I do have a space for that later in the day, but this section is literally just for those closest people to them. And I'll always chat with a couple beforehand to make sure I know exactly what their family dynamic looks like. If there's anyone who's divorced or remarried, if there's grandparents who aren't with us anymore, people who can't make it to the wedding, any awkward relationships, any of that kind of stuff. But typically speaking, family photos takes me about 15 to 20 minutes total. Again, I block in a span of like 30 minutes for that just so we have a little bit of extra buffer room to hang out. And if there's any like additional photos that the couple wants, I'm able to get those in that time as well. And so just kind of just trying to give enough space that I can get all the photos that people typically want. And then if there's any additional stuff, I have time for that as well. And then I typically try to give no less than about 30 to 45 minutes of just like relax time before the ceremony hits. This gives me time to go photograph the guests as they enter, go shoot the ceremony space. I used to try to shoot the ceremony at the beginning of the day, and oftentimes that ceremony space would not have the florals in, wouldn't have some of the programs in, the candles wouldn't be lit, any of those kind of additional details wouldn't actually be there, so I'd end up shooting it twice. So I try to always shoot the ceremony kind of in between family photos and the actual start of the ceremony, and then obviously shoot some guests entering, all that kind of stuff before the actual ceremony begins. Once we hit the ceremony, it's pretty straightforward. Again, every couple has a different ceremony length. I typically kind of estimate about 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes we're looking at an hour and 15, hour and a half. Sometimes couples are done in 10 minutes. But typically speaking, I kind of estimate about 45 minutes for an entire ceremony. And then after the ceremony's finished, the nice thing is with the first look day, we've kind of done everything else. And so what I'll do is I'll take the couple and I'll go, hey, you guys go take a walk, go breathe for a minute. You just got married, go enjoy that feeling of just being married, and don't like try to go into cocktail hour and start talking to everybody. Just take a few minutes. Then I'll catch up to them. I'll shoot some photos. So this will be a time for me to grab some bride and groom photos. And then we'll kind of go join the cocktail hour, shoot some of the cocktail hour stuff, just candids of that. And then we dive into the reception. And then once the reception begins, really that's kind of up to the DJ and the coordinator, what they want to do with the reception timeline. I don't really care where things go in terms of like the cake and the toasts and the dances and all those things. I'm going to be there on site. Everything's all in one space usually. So as long as I know what's happening, I'll always connect with the DJ and the coordinator and just go like, hey, before something happens, just make sure you come talk to me just so I'm aware and I'm ready for it so I don't miss something that's going to happen. And then really the only thing that throws a little bit of a kink into the reception timeline plans is if we want to do golden hour photos and like sunset photos with the couple. Depending on when the sunset actually happens, I'll oftentimes try to grab the couple after they finish eating as the rest of the guests are still finishing their food. But again, depending on what time of year, sometimes sunset's super early, and so we have to use the cocktail hour time for that. Sometimes the sunset's super late, and so I have to pull them off the dance floor because the sun didn't set until 9:30 at night or something like that. And so it really, every wedding kind of depends, but like we'll oftentimes slot in, a 15-20 minute block of time for me to go grab sunset photos. I try to just throughout the day make sure I get about 45 minutes of time with the couple between shooting during cocktail hour and shooting during sunset. And then if there's any kind of additional stuff I shot during the first look, that usually rounds itself out to about 45 minutes to an hour of time with the couple. And that's usually enough for all the photos that they want. And so if you look back at the timeline, really it's like an hour and a half for getting ready, and then we have about a half an hour for a first look, 45 minutes for the wedding party, 30 minutes for the family. Then we have some relaxed time before the ceremony, which is probably about 45 minutes long, and then into cocktail hour where I'll grab the bride and groom, go shoot some photos there, and then a reception, and I might pull them out for some, golden hour sunset photos during that amount of time. And that's a pretty stereotypical timeline for a first look day. And so thinking about a wedding that doesn't have a first look, the major thing that changes is how much time I need between the ceremony and the reception to get everything in. Because obviously they haven't seen each other before the ceremony. I need to make sure we get family photos, full wedding party photos, all that kind of stuff in after the ceremony, as well as giving them some space and shooting some bride and groom photos. And so the way that typically works is I'll start the day with my same hour and a half worth of details and getting ready. And then I will take the groomsmen and the groom out separately from the bride and bridesmaids, because again, they're not seeing each other. I'll take those guys out, shoot some photos with them. I'll take the girls out, bride and bridesmaids, shoot some photos with them. That'll all happen before that relaxed time before the ceremony there. And then we'll have some chill time. I'll go shoot the ceremony details, guests entering, all that. We'll have the ceremony, and then as immediately following the ceremony, we'll dive into family photos. We'll do family photos, finish family photos, and then the nice thing is, because I've already shot groom and groomsmen, bride and bridesmaids, all we have to do now at this point is shoot the entire wedding party, which only takes about 10 minutes. We'll shoot the entire wedding party, and then I'll send the wedding party to cocktail hour. I'll take the bride and groom out, let's give them a few minutes of space just to breathe, and then catch up with them, shoot some portraits of them, and then we'll join cocktail hour at that point. So really what that turns into is about an hour and a half or two kind of after the ceremony that I'll need for all the photo elements after the ceremony. If you're not seeing each other, again, it's not a massive change, but it's just enough that we have to have a conversation about it, and I have to know, hey, are you seeing each other or not? And then the last thing to chat about real quick is extended family photos. When I shoot that is during the reception. And so I'll utilize the DJ to kind of call out last names and be like, hey, can the entire Smith family meet me over here to grab these photos? Or hey, all the college friends, can you all meet over here and grab a photo? And what that allows me to do is to alleviate all the chaos of family photos. So now we're just shooting siblings, parents, and grandparents during the official family photo time, and then use the DJ to kind of call some shots with the entire extended family when we know for sure that everyone's going to be all in one space. Everyone's kind of already preoccupied with cocktail hour or dancing or whatever. So we can just grab some people for 30, 45 seconds, shoot a photo, and then let them go back to dancing or the cocktail hour and hors d'oeuvres and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of how I build a wedding timeline, really from start to finish. Again, the entire process is always built around helping my couple just enjoy their day. I want it to be a stress-free, relaxing, fun day so they can just enjoy getting married, and then their photos will showcase the fact that they were stress-free, relaxed, and they'll just be so much more authentic. So hopefully you've enjoyed the deep dive into my wedding timeline creations process. If you've enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like in the video. That really does help me out. If you're interested in my video content, I'm posting here every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So feel free to subscribe if you're interested in following along with my journey, and I will see you right back here next Thursday.